delay forever. Pretty soon, the unstoppable tide of this attack will come through. LSG will find the first frag onto Ashes, though, and yet again, it's an opening pick for PDHM. Wading through the smoke is prompted. He'll breathe in a lot, and he'll just go for plant. DFULT with 2 kills, though. Wave with another, and Stove with the finisher. PDHM with a flawless rounds through the breach. Slaughterhouse can't make any headway. Horizontal, I believe that's LSG and Stove playing vertical. And speaking of the vertical, it was actually a run out to claim the life of Ashes, and yet again it's a first death and a second death to follow up as the Jaeger plays a pixel on the window. That's so unfortunate. Prompted gets caught off, and already it's not even 30 seconds in the round, and it's already a 5v3.
I don't even know if it was a run. What? He's the sub in this game because Wick can't play, and he's looking for more kills to prove that he can stick with the big boys. But all the other kills happen across the map. LSG, WAV, and Stove with their own frags. PDHM, claim theme park, will head to Villa straight after, but they win Slaughterhouse's map pick. That is massive for how this series can translate.
Necessarily to be pressured to push into the bomb site and not have time to look down at their feet, as the cam will go, and so will Big Sexy. DFULT with the first pick, making amends for his opening death in the last round. Now peeking to China, trying to use those floor holes as Stove takes out Ashes. He'll deal damage to Prompted, not able to finish off the Goyo, but still, yet again, a 2-man advantage for PDHM. There's the pop flash and a great play by Stove, followed up by DFULT. It's all up to 1, but Tom goes down. The 3K from Stove, and PDHM take round 2 flawlessly.
Just as quickly as you were talking about PDHM being a fast-moving squad, that round is over, and we just passed the halfway threshold on it. I'll still have 2 of them in his back pocket for later use. Headless and LSG make a double push back to the bathroom, and they can pressure Big Sexy if they have this positioning, and he goes through the rotate. The timing is awful, and LSG finds the frag, and now PDHM firmly in the driver's seat as Tuffy grabs his 8 and his 9 in quick succession. The Aviator take is completely shut down, and PDHM 4 rounds on a Villa attack. This is only getting worse and worse. And Ashes by themselves, and Ashes wins the fight on LSG. All right, there's still a chance for this. With only 10 seconds left, Diffuser must be reclaimed and planted, and maybe both of these frags cleaned up as well. DFULT, he doesn't have his position. Scouter grabs the kill perfectly. Diffuser's been down, and DFULT, the sub in for PDHM, sends us to Villa's conclusion. PDHM-Gaming 2-0 on Slaughterhouse. They will go to face Honor Esports next week, and Slaughterhouse are the ones put into their own slaughterhouse and absolutely destroyed. Welcome back to Canadian Challenger League. We got one of these to get through right before we end up going to our third match, and we are talking with DFULT, the coach and the sub from PDHM-Gaming. Dude, congratulations, first of all, on your 2-0 victory over Slaughterhouse. How you feeling after a win like that?
Thank you. I'm feeling good. Some things we can improve on. We didn't play our best, but I feel like some certain situations we can kind of tighten up. But overall, it was a good win.
Was it something that you were a little bit confused about how this new look Slaughterhouse team that used to be known as Axios would perform? Because they've had a couple of roster moves. I mean, you had done the same thing, but how do you try to prepare for a team that doesn't quite look the same as they did in the previous stage? What's that process like?
We pretty much had to throw out like all the VODs from stage 1, when we played Axios before. Because of the roster change. I know Prompted, he's been in the USCL division before. I know he's a very good player. I don't really know a whole bunch about the rest of the players on their team, but we pretty much had to just stick to our strats and kind of like mid-game adapt to whatever they tried to push.
Yeah, no, I hear it. One thing I wanted to double check real quick. The performance of Stove, the artist formerly known as Nice Axe, I think we double checked the amount of rounds that you guys lost. I think every single time Stove died was a round you didn't win, and then the man pops off with 16 kills right at the back end of that. Is it too specific to say that you guys were able to win rounds based on how much pressure he was applying to Slaughterhouse over the whole course of the series?
I mean, he's an amazing smoke player too. Like he's just insane on smoke. And then pretty much on offense, we kind of just let him play what he wants to play, whether it's Ash, it's Jackal, or anything like that. We just kind of let him like feel out the game and see what he needs to play, and then just go from there. Yeah. He's kind of like the wild card in that sort of sense.
I mean, a wild card, but he also kind of seemed like a stronghold, a bastion, if you will, for just what you guys were able to do on either attack or defense. It was really, really cool to see. On the flip side of that, though, I did kind of want to ask you about Headless. I know we were talking about moving into a new IGL role, but we saw 1 kill over the course of a whole series, but he also didn't die very often. He looked like he was still sticking to a very hard support role, and the rest of the team is able to just work around him, and he doesn't have to worry about doing anything aside from, you know, his job as a support player. Is that intentional, or was the idea more he can do the IGL work and just kind of hang back?
Well, that's one thing that the scoreboard doesn't show, right? We have a lot of like pre-placed drones. He's always in the back. He's always on cams, on flank watch. Like pretty sure like on theme park, we didn't really play a nomad, which you see very often on theme park. You see nomad to cover because there's normally 3 ways you can flank top floor from like yellow arcade or from dragon.
Yeah.
But we have pre-placed cams on those areas that 95% of the rounds headless before and then after he gets wall open, he's just on those cams. 24/7, like our flank is covered, and that way we don't have a nomad. We can pick another op, get some different utility, and attack the site in multiple different ways. So that's normally how we do that. So his kills, he's setting up everybody else for kills. Put it that way.
Yeah, and I think he was doing a pretty effective job just because of the sheer amount of frags that everyone else was having, and it's not he necessarily had to do any of that work himself. It makes perfect sense. One thing that I wanted to see if we couldn't do more is, because Canadian Challenger League hasn't really had streams in the past, this is the first time we're really doing this. I was trying to go through and find, you know, more info on how you guys do, how you work out, but the problem is we're still trying to give you guys a really good broad introduction to the rest of the Siege scene at large. So kind of give us your side of the story. How are you guys, you know, been a team for this long? Give us a little bit about who and what PDHM is, and maybe what we can continue to expect moving forward.
I mean, we play pretty much. I don't know. I think we play very, very structured. Like we have a certain, you know, thing we want to do, defense, attack. We have a planned out pre-placed drones, everything, you know, normal. And obviously, just Stove wants to do, you know, what he can in he's given round.
Mm-hmm.
If it works, it works. This time it works, so we let him go for it. But pretty much, I don't know. We like to feel the game out, adapt to what we need to do. If we have to like move some strats around, we do. Like, I don't know if you saw, like we have like for ABR games in Villa, we had our first strat necessarily didn't work, so we have, you know, backups. So we have a tertiary as well if that doesn't work. Like we have multiple strats for different sites depending on like just feeling out the game. That's pretty much all I can really give at this point. It's got a lot, still have work to do, still have, you know, mistakes we made that we just gotta like VOD review and then fix for the for Honor.
Yeah, I hear it. I actually did want to ask you real quick. You're heading into that match next week against Honor Esports, the same team that was first place in the previous stage. Is that something that you find really daunting, I suppose, or is it more a matter of we're just going to continue to play our own game, and then if we're able to catch Honor napping, then we'll just kind of ride the momentum that we have from this game into the next one? What's your process for going up against a team that has that current reputation?
Well, obviously you have to respect them. Like I know some of the players on Honor. I know they're good players. They've been together for a long time, even from when Canadian Nationals, a lot of them played together there as well. So I know they have a really good chem. But the same thing, like we couldn't get really VODs on Axios outside of the 2 maps here. They only have anything on us because LSG is new, WAV is new. I'm playing like it's not really a lot of VODs, so we can look back at their stuff from stage 1 if I think they're still there. I don't know if they are, and then go from what we saw today against Dislats, and then just adapt from there really.
Yeah, I hear it. All right, before I let you go, anything that you want to say to the fans, any of the PDHM supporters in chat, of which I've seen quite a lot just kind of scrolling through the past couple of minutes, anything you want to say to your supporters and kind of give a farewell message before we send you off?
Just thanks for coming out, thanks for watching. Hopefully we can make you guys proud and beat Honor next weekend.
Awesome, really appreciate it, Default. Yeah, and shout out to Wick as well. Yeah, we wanted to make
yeah,
sure
shout out to
we
Wick,
leave him out
man.
of the equation. Yeah. Hopefully he's able to get back in the fight at some point, but your performance still was something that was a really nice thing to behold. Congratulations again on your win. We'll see you next week for Honor. Take care, dude.
Thank you, Jacob. You too. Bye.
Saw someone in chat say, oh, Default kind of looks like a cheat.
I'm kind of looking at it, honestly. Maybe. I don't know. I mean, if you took off the hat, probably.
Oh, maybe. But, wow. PDHM absolutely lights out performance on really both maps. You know, before it was a 7-4-7 win for then known as Axios, now Slaughterhouse, and DHM flipped the script and took it 1 round more dominantly. So +1 for them. So thank y'all for going out and watching this game, but we still have another one. We've got 2 more games today. The next one is going to be Oblivion versus Windstorm?
You got it. There you go, yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
Oblivion versus Windstorm. Actually, we can look at the bracket so I can make sure that I'm not wrong in that. Okay. Or, oh, never mind. Here tells me we're just looking up. Darn it.
There we go.
All right. Honor 2 overs to Slats, PDHM 2 over Slaughterhouse, Honor Esports and PDHM, the only two teams from Group A, currently still in in Pro League relegation zone. Slats and Slaughterhouse, whoever loses that will be in Challenger League relegation zone. Not the place you want to be.
It's something that I'm pretty darn sure either Slats or Slaughter can still kind of work their way out of. It's really a case of it being the first series of the season and you're playing for reals as opposed to just going for scrims and trying things out. So I don't want to say it's way too early to call for either one of those teams who might have to play in that relegation spot going into the future, but at the end of the day, either Slats or Slaughterhouse is going to be at the bottom of that group and will end up playing in that relegation series, assuming that they stick together. So at the end of the day, that's for all of Group A, we are all done for the day. We're going to pass it over to Group B. Benny and Cookies will be taking you back through Oblivion versus Windstorm as we start up the Group B games. Then Crow and I will be back a little bit later on talking about the final game of the day. If my memory serves me right, it's Oceanus against the brand new christened Depth Esports. We'll be right back after a very short break. Thank you very much for joining.